Want to go deeper with Lobbing Scorchers? You know, scratch under the surface, get down even dirtier than we already get. Become a YouTube member. Sometimes things just get a little too spicy, a little too weird, and a little too loose for the general public. And you know, the people to see that are YouTube members. We're talking about exclusive bonus videos, the podcast after show, exclusive written content, and little bits and pieces of information before the unwashed masses know about it. As a member, you not only get access to all of this amazing content, you get a badge next to your name and a slew of amazing emotes to use, not only in our live stream chat, but also in our comments section. And yes, we do have an emote for Jesus Ferreira, Go Snack, and Paul Rothrock. This is the best way to help keep us independent and keep us building out this crazy YouTube brand that we call Lobbing Scorchers. Hit the join button down below or hit the link in the top of our description if you're on mobile to join the ranks and become a Lobbing Scorchers YouTube member.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to a very special episode of Lobbing Scorchers Under the Lights. Folks, the Seattle Sounders 2025 regular season is in the books. They are starting their playoff campaign this weekend at Minnesota United. But first, we are going to be doing our first ever Lobbing Scorchers end of season awards show. We have 8 different categories to dole out these awards to your favorite Seattle Sounders players, and we've assembled an all-star panel to help us give out these awards.
Would you be shocked that Nico was late?
Believe it or not, Nico Moreno is going to be a part of this panel. He is running a little bit late, but he's going to be here in a couple minutes, supposedly. It's going to be a 4-man panel, and we are going to be giving out, the lobbies. That's a good name for it. Jeremiah, thanks for tapping in. How are you doing this evening?
I'm doing good. Just made dinner for the fam. So, you know.
All right. Hell yeah. It sounds like a banner night at the O'Shan household. Noah, what's up, man? Thanks for tapping in again. How are you doing? You ready for some end of season awards?
Yeah, I moved. So I have no furniture. It sounds really echoey in here. And I've been living off cans of soup. So I'm really hoping for some super chats tonight.
Well, your setup,
I'm
having just moved
Ari.
in the last couple days. It's not bad, but thanks for tuning in. We're excited for this. I'm excited to see what you guys picked. I think there should be some good spirited debates tonight. So let's get into it. We have a couple of things at the top of the show that I did want to hit. And while we wait for Nico, but before we get into all that, please like the video. Sub to the channel, rate 5 stars, follow us on Instagram, follow us on TikTok, buy the Lobbing Scorchers hot sauce, lobbingscorchers.com/sauce. I mean, is there anything else to shill, or does that about cover it? All right. I think we're good.
For a sounder at heart.
All right, guys, before we get started on the awards show, I did want to start on we're going to have to start on a more somber note. We haven't recorded an episode since the prognosis on the Pedro de la Vega injury that he suffered on decision day came out.
Wait, Pedro de la Vega got injured?
He got injured, unfortunately, and it is indeed, as we found out, going to keep him out for the rest of the season. Is a fractured patella, right? Is that the medical term? But basically a broken kneecap. Broken kneecap, which sounds very painful. But Jo, I guess, is there any more info as to like timeline or severity, or just what's the latest on the whole situation for those who might not be in the know the last couple of days?
So he had surgery on Tuesday, and my understanding is that a fractured patella it's not a best case scenario, but it's not the worst case scenario, which would be like a torn ACL, which takes longer to heal, which has more. There's more challenges to it. This is apparently a pretty straightforward recovery process, and they think he'll be back sometime March, April, something like that. So he'll miss, some time for sure next year. But I would think he'll probably be able to train with the team during preseason and potentially playing again with maybe 3 months into the season, 2 months into the season.
Okay, well, yeah. So that's obviously bad, but it's not as bad as it could have been. Like you said, if it had been an ACL, we'd be talking about like I was kind of preparing for a scenario where he wouldn't be playing competitive soccer in the year 2026. So that's
Right.
not.
I mean, so that's obviously not the case, and that was, because it was his right leg, which I guess is the ACL he did, and if you re-injure an ACL, I think that even lengthens the recovery process even more. And yeah, if it had been an ACL, it sounds like he could have been out for the year. I've
Sounds
heard
like
a
he
lot
could have
of
been traded.
I mean, I don't know, trading a player when they're in the middle of an injury recovery is usually not a thing that happens.
I just meant, you might be a little chalked if you redo the same knee after not barely playing. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm saying it's good for him. It's good. It's good. This is a good thing. I was being doomer. I'm sorry, chat.
Well, I guess let's.
I'm in a layer right now. It's hard. It's hard to tell the vibe.
It's let's talk about the short-term implications of this, because I think it's horrible news, obviously, and you feel really bad for him after everything he went through last year and all the work he did to get back, and then what a great season he had last year. It sucks that he's now out for 6 months and isn't going to be able to play in the playoffs this year. I think we were all looking forward to seeing what he could do after what he did in Leagues Cup. I was hell yeah looking forward to watching him in the playoffs. So we're unfortunately not going to have that. But Noah, I guess, how are you feeling about how this affects Seattle's prospects in the playoffs this year? Because I think for me, ordinarily, when you lose one of your best players, one of your designated players right before the playoffs, it's kind of hard for your mind not to go to a place of like, this is chalked. Like, if we had him, it would be MLS Cup in the cards, but without him, it's a ceiling capper. Like, it's hard to see how they make a run to MLS Cup. I'm not really fully there with it. I feel like they have enough at that position where a playoff run is still in the cards. But how are you feeling about that? I'll let you cook on that, and then Nico just tapped in. We'll get
him on. Bring him in.
All right, I'll just bring him on right
here,
now.
and I'll cook on this as well. Welcome. Thanks for showing up. Were you just too busy losing at fantasy football, or what? Well,
I did lose for the first time in 3 weeks, but yes. No, I was actually picking up my daughter. Thursdays is not my thing. Usually I don't pick her up on Thursdays, but today was an exception. But here we are, ready to roll.
I look like an asshole.
Oh, no, come on now. It's just regular, dad duties.
But yeah, we were cooking on. Am I scared of the playoffs now that Pedro de la Vega? No, like everyone on this team's a winger. We've talked about this. Is Ryan Kent back? Is he coming back?
So Tom is asking in chat. That's a good segue. He says, "Jo, did Kent train today? Will he be ready for the best of 3 series?" That's what I'm wondering as well.
Yeah, so he's been training all week. Oh, go ahead, Nico, if you want to answer.
No, go ahead. Sorry.
He's been training all week. And it sounds like he's iffy for the game 1, but he is likely for game 2.
See, that is one thing that makes me feel better about the prospects of playing without Pedro de la Vega, because I mean they're different players, and I think Pedro de la Vega has shown kind of a different level at his peak than Ryan Kent did, even when he was cooking when he first got here. But I do think they offer like kind of similar stuff just in terms of being creative players that can pull great plays and pull great passes and goals out of nowhere. Like they both kind of share that attribute. So I'm hoping that this creates a path for Ryan Kent to show us that he's still Ryan Kent, because I've been consistent that I never sold my stock. But Nico, how are you feeling about the De La Vega situation? I guess just Seattle's prospects of an MLS Cup run playing without him.
Look, I think that there is no hiding away from the fact that Pedro provides things that no one in this roster can provide, even Ryan Kent, as a proven commodity, as a proven winger. I think that there's no other player this season that puts the fear of God into defenses the way that Pedro has. And I'll share some other stuff here about Pedro this season when we get into the award part of the show. But I still think that Seattle has a collective unit at that winger position that can replicate collectively what he can provide. When it comes to having a guy that can be important in big time games. You got primetime Pauly when it comes to beating defenders 1v1 and creating havoc. You got Georgie Manungu.
Still better than Messi at beating defenders, by the way,
there you
statistically
go.
speaking.
So you got a community of wingers that can, hopefully do a lot of the things that Pedro did. But again, I do believe, and I continue to say, that the chances of the Sounders getting farther and farther into the playoffs do diminish with his injury. I wanted to add on Ryan Kent that the way I read it, with what I've seen from him in practice, is that they're trying to build him up for at least 30, right? 30, 20 minutes. He's been, today he was a partial participant, very high intensity on both drills and scrimmages, but then he gets taken off. They can take him to the side. They kind of assess that injury, I think. There were 3 guys that did a little bit of assessment on the side of the scrimmage today. Alex Roldan, Yemer Gomez Andrade, and of course Ryan Kent. So I think that there is a sense that Ryan Kent is close to being ready to be available, just probably not for a large amount of time, not for 45, not for 90. I'm sure that he could build up to get closer to 45, but right now it just seems like it's a very condensed, very high intensity part of the training that he's part of.
And I mean, you have to imagine that Paul Rothrock is going to be the one tasked with stepping up in this situation. I mean, does anyone see it differently, or do we expect Georgie Manungu to maybe take a bigger role in the playoffs? How do you kind of see it shaping out as far as who's going to take the lion's share of covering for this, Jo?
I think it's probably going to be Paul. He has been a starter essentially anytime someone's not available at the wing, and frankly, most of the season. So I would think that it's a plug and play kind of situation. I think he's very clearly the preferred option there.
Yeah. All right. Well, it is playoff time, guys. It's exciting. I know the De La Vega injury, I think, kind of put a damper on it, but it is time for the postseason and to see if the Sounders can. They're gonna have to play a lot of road games in all likelihood to make it to MLS Cup. So we'll see if they can do it. We did have the playoff wildcard round start last night. I watched both of the games. You had 2 3-1 results, one Chicago over Orlando, and then the Timbies did take care of business and get it done and save Phil Neville's job. They get a 3-1 win over RSL, which
extend Phil Neville. Extend him.
We were all rooting for I was rooting for the downfall, the chaos and turmoil. And Real Salt Lake, they were pushing for that equalizer and they didn't quite get it. But as we just talk about these first 2 games a little bit before we jump into the awards, Joe, I wanted to start with you, Nico, because you've been the Orlando City guy. You stuck to your guns. You're the Oscar Pereira apologist. What did you think of watching the Chicago Fire? That game wasn't even close. The Chicago Fire destroyed Orlando City.
Get ready to learn Greg Ball, buddy. The U.S. should look into that guy. I guess for the USMNT.
My question is I wouldn't have even thought that this was a question until yesterday, but is Pereira on the hot seat? He's considered one of the best coaches in MLS, but their end of their season was bad.
Send his ass to Atlanta, bro. I'm telling you. Bad. I did text you that. I said, Oscar Pereira, welcome to Atlanta. Sorry, Nico. I'm just cooking here.
No. I dig it, man. I dig it. As always, there's that Paul Rothrock just has all the energy in the world. I love it. So look, it was easily the worst playoff performance by an Oscar Pereira team that I can remember. It was definitely the worst as the manager for Orlando. The team just lost all sorts of fight. I mean, there was no creativity to start off. They didn't really seem to be a game plan. It was way too conservative. The team was way too deep. Martin Ojeda was, on a milk carton, missing in action. I mean, they couldn't find him at all. I think Angulo has progressively gotten worse throughout the season. I thought that when Spicer came on, he was a more influential player at that position. So, Jensen seemed to be a guy that just got rushed in from the injury. Obviously, for an important elimination game, but just didn't look quite ready. So it was just this perfect storm of things that created by far the worst performance that I've seen from an Orlando team. Oscar Pereira is absolutely on the hot seat. I think that this will cost him his job. You cannot have a roster of this caliber and come up short. Have things not gone his way? Has there been maybe moves that shouldn't have happened? I thought that Ramiro Enrique was a key component as part of that trio that they continue to rotate at the 9. They let him go. I thought that Muriel digressed throughout the season. I think that Pedro Gales has had one of the worst seasons that he's had in MLS. I thought that in the midfield, Atuesta just had good games, had bad games, just too hot and cold. So, there were things about this team that you can kind of point at, but when you have that much resources, and Oscar has gotten everything he's wanted. Everything he's wanted, he's got it. They brought it in, and he just hasn't been able to put it together. I think, and as an Oscar Pereira guy, and I'm an Oscar Pereira guy today, the same way I've always been. But there is a question of, look, Oscar is a great coach that can come into your club and build it up from the ground up. And I thought he did that with Dallas. I thought he did that in Orlando, got their first title, right? US Open Cup, right? Whatever. Some people don't rate it. I think it's an important accomplishment for that franchise that was in the dumps before that just didn't have an identity. So I think he can do that, but can he take your franchise to the next step? That's a valid criticism. And just to conclude it, it is unsuccessful. He was unsuccessful in Orlando to a certain extent. He brought him to a certain point, but then beyond that, he just couldn't take that extra step.
Yeah, the whole question of a coach that can build you from the ground up, but can they get you to the next level? I think it's pretty much exactly what RSL is going through with Pablo Mastroeni, as we kind of saw in the other wild card game. The Timbies, does anyone have any thoughts on the Timbies RSL game? I mean, the Timbies got the 3-1 win, but RSL was really pushing to make that 2-2. I felt like they got a little unlucky to not get it to 2-2, and then Portland gets the third. But I almost feel like there's a lens to look at it where it's kind of like prolonging the inevitable for the Timbies. Like, I don't think anyone thinks they're making a cup run this year.
I think this was the worst possible win for them.
Yeah, explain.
Because you saved your absolutely dog shit head coach's job. I mean, that guy is fucking terrible. I don't understand how they haven't let him go. It's because he keeps doing shit like this where he's like, guys, look, I'm going to pull a rabbit out of a hat. But it's funny because by his own standards that he will go and talk to the media about, he's a failure. He said if they have to do a play-in game, if they're playing in the play-in game, it's a failure of a season. So I don't really know.
Why did he say that? He said that when they're line. He said that when they were like,
Jeremiah, listen, you've been talking with Merritt in the Lumen Field tunnels. What did you say to him? Did you say you should keep that Phil Neville guy? Is this your best troll yet?
Yeah, exactly. That was the way he was like, what do you think? Should I keep the fizzer? And I was like, you got to keep the fizzer, dude. You got to, dude.
Extend the fizzer. Is that his like Twitter handle?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah,
I think it's his, actually might be his like actual nickname. But I did not think that the Timbers looked particularly good. I mean, they scored a couple early goals. I will say a remarkable thing for Felipe Mora to score 2 goals on his own rebound. You don't see that very often. Of course, he couldn't complete the hat trick, so that they it would have been, I think, the first hat trick in a Timbers player had ever scored at home. But
I thought they've like not scored.
They don't have a hat trick period.
Yeah,
but Diego Chara has one apparently.
What?
That's a wild stat.
I've been hearing this stat my whole life. That
I thought it was.
They said it on the show on the broadcast last night. I don't believe.
I don't believe.
Yeah,
Apple
no,
TV.
I don't think that's. I don't buy that.
I don't think
Diego Chara does it all, baby.
I think that's a made up hat trick.
Oh, in MLS play, yes.
I would remember that.
No hat tricks in MLS play.
All right. That's an important qualifier. I did want to ask because Portland, they are matching up with San Diego in round one. Nico, do you know what's going up with Chucky Lozano? Tom Bogert recently reunited with the Athletic. He reported that there was some sort of like disciplinary thing going on with Chucky, and that his status for this round one series against Portland is it's like not clear that he's going to play. And then, you know, when you hear stuff like that, it's like, oh, is his future with the club in flux right now? Like, is he disgruntled? Does he want to get out of there? But also, if Chucky Lozano is not playing in the playoffs, that affects Seattle in the sense that like their chances of making a run. San Diego without Chucky Lozano, that's a drastically weaker team, is it not? Like, that's one of the most talented attacking players of any team in the Western Conference that's potentially not going to be playing. Like, what's going on with that?
Yeah, look, I made some calls and I got some nibbles. I mean, we do have some sources that touch in the farther part of the circles there. I do have a contact within San Diego, and what I got was two different takes, which is interesting and why I haven't really put anything on X. But I'll share with you guys, because whenever you go out on a search and you don't find something and you want to create a little content with it, why not? So when he came to the source closer to Chucky, it sounds like there's confidence that things are going to get resolved, and that there was a moment that he wishes he would take back, you know, roughly translated into English. That's what I would put it as. But that everything's all right, and that in the playoffs he should be part of the playoffs. And I thought that was important, part of the playoffs. They didn't say he was going to start or same, you know, sort of role. They just said he was going to be part of the playoffs. And then I talked to my source, you know, closer to the club side, and it was kind of more concerning about Mikey Veras is a guy that does not allow certain sort of behavior within his teams, and that makes a lot of sense because we all know Mikey, and I think that what he's done with this team is remarkable, and a lot of it has to do with his mythology and the way he handles his teams. So I would absolutely believe that if someone is not ticking to the right way of the clock, he's going to pull that piece out and put another one in, even if it's a lesser important piece, right? If I think that Pellegrino is going to do the things that I ask, and is going to be a guy that it is more to the standards of what I think should be the standard, then I'm going to let that guy on. So two different takes on that. My guess is that it's probably somewhere in the middle. If I had to, you know, provide a educated guess, my guess is that Chucky probably is coming off the bench and has to earn his spot back into this team, which at the end of the day, as you mentioned, it is a big deal because this team is drastically better with a guy like Chucky Lozano on the field, a guy that could beat you 1v1, a guy that can beat you with mid-range shots, a guy that is clearly an important part of this team, and that you don't leave Dreyer as the only guy that can provide all those things, right? He's the other attacking guy. He's the other person that's going to stretch out defenses. So it is a big deal for this San Diego team, but that's kind of what I've been able to gather so far in that regard.
There's no way that they're going to play the playoffs like without Chucky Lozano or him. Like,
I don't think so.
With
either.
a minimized role to any significant extent. I don't know what Mikey Veras' ground rules are, but unless it was something insanely egregious, their chances of winning MLS Cup, I don't think they hinge all on Chucky, but you have to think that their chances of making a run, Chucky and Dreyer have to be carrying that. I don't think they can do it without both of those guys firing. So
maybe they're doing
it's not the time to make a stand for them on this. I don't think. I say that without knowing what's going on at all. But
yeah, maybe they're doing a bit. Maybe they're doing like a Halloween themed bit, like the Chucky doll. You know,
I think it's posturing. I'm fully expecting Chucky to be out there for the Portland series.
I think they'll be fine with Portland. I mean, they beat Portland pretty comfortably without him.
Yeah.
I think that there are players, like I mentioned, Pellegrino. I think that they want to get more out of Marcus Ingvarsson. I killed that last name. I tried to read it right out of here and still completely chopped it. But this Danish attacker that they brought in, he's supposed to be a guy.
Chopped and Unk.
Yes,
That's
absolutely.
what the kids are saying.
all together.
Yeah.
But he's a guy that I feel like could, help this team out on that attacking side and creativeness wise, and just being another guy that could be effective on their role. So there are guys that could put it together, but it's still very likely. I don't know. Ari has a good point. Is a coach willing to go the extra mile and put himself at a disadvantage just to make a point? I've seen it happen. I've seen it happen with Cucho, and was it Wilfred? I think it was Wilfred and Cucho, where he just sat him because there was a problem. He sat him in the playoffs. He didn't care. So I think that there are times where coaches just got to make a stand. So I wouldn't dismiss anything, to be quite frank.
All right, guys, are we ready for some end of season awards?
Should we before we do that, do who our pick is to win MLS Cup?
We could do that.
I like that.
Sure.
Just like,
I don't know
we
if
don't
I've
do the whole bracket. We can just like throw out who we're thinking quickly, because I haven't even.
I
filled
did do
out
the
my
bracket,
and I kind of want to get some insight here. So I can win like a set of Continental tires or whatever they give away if you predict it correctly.
I had a pretty boring pick. I think I had LAFC in my bracket.
Okay.
I just think like with Son and Bouanga right now, like when they get hot, and they've been hot pretty much since they started playing together, that's like the toughest attack to stop right now. And when you get like the buzzsaw attack rolling in a tournament like that, it can take you a long way. So that's who I put.
Jo?
I think I also picked LAFC for basically the same reasons. I like them a lot going through the playoffs. Although maybe I may have just gone with the Sounders for fun. Actually, now that I think about it, I think I did pick the Sounders to beat Nashville at home. So go for that. Let's do
That'd
it.
be a sick bracket.
Why not? Why not us?
Why not?
That's right. I actually got Vancouver. I think Vancouver is the most balanced team. I think they're extremely in form. Everybody's going to be mad at me. You're probably right. It's probably the wrong show to share that. But I'm going to share my bracket either way. I just think that there are factors that I look into what makes a team great at the playoffs, and I think they have a good coach. I think they have a good identity. They have a solid midfield. They got a new playmaker, an energizer for the whole team in Thomas Mueller. I think that they're going to get some guys back as well as the tournament progresses. They have a pretty easy first game. So I just really think that this Vancouver team has done enough, and I think that they'll have enough to frustrate LAFC. Vancouver's had a lot of proven moments this season, and the only time they failed was in the CCC final, right? But they were able to get there, right? I think Noberhalter and a couple of guys missing. So with the full squad and a team that has already been proven in a tournament, I just think that they're the favorite for me.
They have the best vibes right now, I think. Yeah. Vancouver and LAFC have both been like riding vibes for the last few weeks, but I like Vancouver's more. I think Thomas Mueller, he's just I was reading Charlie Baum's story about him, like he did a big feature on Thomas Mueller's impact on the Vancouver Whitecaps. It's kind of just unexpected how quickly he's taken
very
that
unexpected
club in that city. Like you just never know how.
And scoring penalties and scoring another penalty. Yeah.
But like, it's about the off field and locker room component of it as much as what he's doing on the field. That's kind of the thing of it. It's not even just scoring goals. It's how he's kind of elevated their aura, I guess. All right.
Yeah. I don't know what J.O. thinks about it. I want to hear his take, because he was definitely upset with that pick, but I agree with the Mueller thing, because I did not expect him to be so vested into this club. I thought he was going to come in, collect a check, and do his thing, very Gareth Bale-like. But he's been the opposite. This is a guy that's getting everybody going. Every single time he talks about the team, he's like, look, this guy needs to be pushed. They need to be pinched, woken up. He has this like bromance with Berhalter. I mean, the guy is really going the extra mile to amplify his team both on and off the field, and to me that's just a good extra factor to cement the team.
I was kind of doing a bit there, but I think Vancouver is a fine pick. I agree with you on all counts. I think the only concern I really have about them is the same concern I would have for the Sounders, which is they have a lot of injuries to key players right now. Brian
Sure.
White still has some questions. Tristan Blackman still has some questions. Their center back whole situation has a lot of questions because, especially in this first game against Dallas.
Laporta has a red card.
Right, exactly. So there's, I think they'll be fine, but I don't know. I think that that loss on decision day ends up being pretty painful, not just because they have to play Dallas and Dallas is even, has players back for this game that they didn't have in decision day, but also it puts them on the same side of the bracket as LAFC.
Yeah.
And just, and LAFC is a tough out, but
Mhm.
I mean, for sure I wouldn't bet. I don't necessarily think they have a bet, they're a good team. They're a really good team. And Sorensen is the deserved coach of the year. Spoiler alert.
Yeah,
Well,
it was. I think that was kind of a debate this year between him and Mikey Varas, but like I don't. It's kind of hard to argue with the case that Sorensen's made. Although I know Noah was on the Schmetz agenda, which
Every year.
it just would never. They don't have the courage to actually give it to him.
No,
But-
look, hey, I feel bad for Cornell. He took an expansion team in St. Louis, top of the West, should have been the coach of the year that year, but they gave it to Noonan. And now he, it always goes to the Shield winner because that's just what everybody wants to see. And now they're not going to give it to him again. I feel bad for the dude.
Yeah, he definitely had a shout. I think that Philly team was probably set up for success more than people probably realized, but he did do a good job. I won't take away from that. All right, let's
you want to
dive
know who I'm
into-
going to pick?
Oh yeah, I keep trying to get us started, but yeah, go.
It's
ahead.
fine. I mean, if you guys don't want to know, it's cool.
No,
was
you're
just
right.
gonna
I
say,
skipped you. I skipped you.
Clearly, all of you West Coast bias people don't, respect the East at all. And you know who I'm going to go with? Charlotte. We're going to get a Zaha crash out. He's going to be suspended for MLS Cup final. And that's my take. And
I picked them to make it and lose to LAFC, so I have them going far.
You got
like that
Charlotte
too.
going all the way?
I do.
No
I was kind
FPL though. They're
of
kind of
a little outside the box. I've been saying they're kind of my dark horse pick. I feel like they're built well for playoffs. Like they might.
And
They're
Philly's
not
fraudulent.
a team in the East, but like just the way they play is built well for playoffs. And then we're Willie Zaha fans on this show. He's a lot of fun. The crash outs, I find them endearing so far. Like he doesn't. It's just he's just cooking on Snapchat.
He loves to cook on Snapchat.
Yeah. He's a lot of fun. All right, are we ready?
All right,
now?
you can go now. Sorry.
Okay.
God forbid.
let's give out these end of season awards, guys. What we're gonna do, we got 8 categories here, and then we're just gonna round table and reveal who we picked for each category. And then I think some of them we're probably all gonna have the same guys, but I think there's a lot of these here that are actually gonna lead to some good debate and good discourse. If you disagree or agree with any of our picks, feel free to make your cases in chat, and we're not going to change our minds, but we'll acknowledge and respect your opinion.
And we are going to have to come to a conclusion.
Okay, yeah, we were talking about if we should actually have to like name
Parliamentary
a winner
system.
or just discuss it, but yeah, through the power of democracy, we will name a winner for each one of these categories. We've got
Democracy in sports.
We're gonna name team MVP, attacking player of the year, defender of the year. I got the best young player other than Obed Vargas category. He's going to win it for league wide. So I felt like there's no real other answer to that. So we're going to name the one other than him. Newcomer of the year, like guys first year on the team, unsung hero of the year, most improved player. And then to close it out, we have got the Clint Dempsey red card of the year award. We're going to discuss which of the 9 red cards this season was our favorite red card. So let's get into it without further ado. And I wanted to start with, let's just start with the biggest one, team MVP, because this is one where I'm pretty sure we're all going to have the same guy, but maybe not. So I think that'll be, we'll just knock that one out off the top, and then we'll get into the ones that might elicit a little more discussion. But Nico, why don't you get us started on our very first Lobbing Scorchers end of season award show? Who did you have for the 2025 Seattle Sounders team MVP?
Well, because I am the first one, I'm just gonna go, very chalk. I think that this is the one we're probably all going to come up with for the most part. But considering the system, the importance of the pivots, and the amount of minutes that he's put together, the importance that he has on both sides of the ball, for me, Christian Roldan is the MVP of this team. What he's been able to do on the leadership side as well, I've seen him grow in that regard as well. But just mainly the way he affects the game. He covers so much ground. He's so sound defensively. He's a guy that also, incorporates himself into the attack very easily. And he allows Obed to be Obed. And I think that a lot of times you don't get one without the other. Obed definitely plays a lot more free. He's able to do more of his things with and because of Christian Roldan. He has his own value, of course. He's very talented. I just think that the synchronized way that the team plays just looks better whenever Christian Roldan is on the field.
Did anyone have not Christian Roldan? Jo, no.
No, I think that's
I think it's pretty consensus for all the reasons that Nico just outlined. As far as like who the other candidates even are, I mean, for me, I was like, well, you could probably give it to Obed theoretically as well, which I think says a lot about the double pivot. But I do think, like Nico, what you said is correct. Like what Christian does allows Obed to be Obed. I think you could say that the other way as well. A lot of the stuff that Obed does allows Christian to perform at his team MVP level. But yeah, I mean, just what he does for this team on both sides of the ball, week in, week out, playing every minute of every game, as we've talked about extensively. I mean, the guy, how many minutes is he at this point? It's got to be pushing like 4K minutes. Just Iron Man, working his way back into the national team. Like, what a year.
Yeah, he leads the team with, I mean, this is just MLS play, by the way, but it's 2,633. I mean, that's a lot of minutes, just an MLS play, not to mention, all comps. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, did you guys even consider anyone outside of the?
I thought about Albert Rusnak. I thought he's had a quietly impressive season, and I don't think that he necessarily gets the love that he deserved. But I thought that there was a lot of play and time when he played really, really well. And then I guess super dark horse, I think you could toss a like honorary shout to Jesus Ferreira, just simply because of all the ways that he filled in at the 10, has played, an incredible game at the wing and been able to see the game and really like power Moose and power, a lot of players through injury and, kind of rotation, but just been so solid all season.
All right, let's just
I'll just throw this out there. Christian Roldan, 3,600 minutes across all comps.
God,
that's wild.
Arguably too many. And then he's also been playing for the
gets called like another 200 and odd minutes for the U.S. national team. Yeah,
it's I mean, he claims that he's feeling great. That's what he says every time you ask him. But I think there was a point in the season where he kind of started looking a little fatigued, but I feel like the last couple weeks he's looked back to his kind of top level. So that's been good to see heading into the playoffs here. All right. Next category. We have full consensus on that. I think there might be a couple other here where you have full consensus, but I think there's going to be good debates on these other ones. Let's get to our next category. We've got attacking player of the year. I think there's a few different ways you could go with this one. I don't think this will be a consensus. Jo, why don't you start us off for this one? Who'd you have for the Seattle Sounders 2025 attacking player of the year?
Well, I think it's Albert Rusnak. I just feel like he has been outstanding this year. I think he's got 13 goals, 10 assists, if I'm maybe 12 assists, something like that. But he's just been a model of consistency. He's come up big when the Sounders need him. I think one of the things that's been really improved this year is his goal scoring has been much more consistent. I think there were some inflated numbers last year. He had the hat trick against Columbus, which does count. But
Sean Zawatsky.
It wasn't John Sawatsky. That's true. But, I just have been very impressed with Rusnak. It's a shame that he missed as much time as he did down the stretch just because his numbers suffered. But I just think he's going to be more fresh for the playoffs. And I feel very good about his season. And, it's hard to imagine where the Sounders would be without, Rusnak.
See, that's not who I had, but I'll let Noah. Why don't you go next? Was that your answer as well?
I love the Albert Rusnak pick. That is not who I picked, though. I think, as I said before, I would have given my team MVP in another world where Christian wasn't head and shoulders above to Albert Rusnak. I think, again, like he had such an incredible season that hasn't been talked about enough. And let's go with Jesus Ferreira. Okay, I've been harping on it all season. It's the tangibles, it's the intangibles, it's the things that he's been able to find and do and make do with rotated lineups, playing a million positions, figuring it out. His stats are, they're maybe not the greatest thing in the entire world. What is he at? He's at like 4 goals, 4 assists in league play. But honestly, like the things that he brings, if you're watching a game, the passing, the vision, the movement off the ball, the way he's able to combine with whether it be Albert now, like being able to go through and figure out how to play with Albert, but also being able to go out and elevate Moose, elevate Paul Rothrock, elevate De La Vega, all of these things. Like it's, I think his performance is incredibly impressive. So that is who I voted for attacking player of the year.
I like that pick, and you laid out a good rationale for it. But I'm going to go next because I had a different one than both of you. I had Danny Musovsky deserves a shout here. He deserves a shout here. Jordan Morris has missed pretty much this entire year with injury. And the reason that they were able to stay afloat for as long as they were, there was a few factors, Jesus Ferreira and Albert Rusnak each being one of them. But Moose, he led the team in goals. He had 14 goals in league play, and had he had another in leagues. He had like 16, 17 goals, all comps. And I really think that like I think it's gone a little understated how they were able to maintain their level without their DP number 9 for most of the year. And I think that was in large part due to Moose's service or his work this year. And I will also say, we've been talking about him as a big trade candidate or a candidate for a player to be moved on next year, which there's roster management reasons why that makes sense. I do think it could be like it could end up being like a be careful what you wish for type situation. We think of it as this system maybe where you can just toss in any number 9, like Osaze got in there and he was also banging in goals. So maybe that's the case, but I think we might find out that there was more substance to Moose's game than just than we were lending credence to. And I don't know if I actually believe in this take, but I think he deserves a shout. He deserves a shout. Like I don't think you can have the discussion without him being a nominee for what he did for this team this year. Nico. That's a good one. I wasn't trying to go chalk, but I obviously I did think about Albert Rusnak, and beyond of what Jo just mentioned, I would add the fact that this year is as active and aggressive as I've seen him on the ball since he came to Seattle. I mean, defensively as well, but just on the attacking side, his movement, the times that he decides to just break lines with the ball, what he does in connectivity, of course, as part of that attacking 4, I think it's been outstanding. Not to mention, obviously, set pieces that are also part of the attacking side of the ball. I think that he is the clear-cut favorite. The only person that I kind of decided to go with, just so we didn't all have the same answer, was Pedro de la Vega. I think Pedro de la Vega has 10 goals, 4 assists for all comps, but it's beyond the numbers for me. I'm not a stats guy. It's about having a guy that's going to influence the game differently. He's the guy that, regardless of what game he came on, he would
completely pin back the fullback. He would make struggles of the defense. He would stretch him out. He would come inside, outside. The bag of tools he has offensively is bigger than anybody on the team. But just hearing the opposition talk about him, I've shared with you guys Cruz Azul talking about, man, that guy De La Vega, he's just a difference guy. Un distinto. He's just different. He's built different. Botafogo. I have a good friend in Botafogo who said, look, if that Argentinian guy comes in the 50th, maybe as a halftime sub in the 45th, we might lose that game. Because he was just all over when he came on in the 70th minute. I mean, he just looked like he was going to put us. He burned us. He was just hard to defend. He was just a guy that we could not do enough to go and try to limit. So when you have a guy like that on the attacking end, I got to give him a shout beyond his numbers, because just the way he plays the game on the attacking side of the ball.
Jo, you didn't seem to like the moose take. What are your thoughts on my my moose the moose case that I made?
It warrants it. You're right. It warrants mentioning, but I don't think he is the offensive. I don't think any. He did a very good job of getting himself in dangerous spots and finishing plenty of chances, and he deserves a lot of credit. But I don't think he is the most important offensive player.
I just wanted to give him a mention. I think so. It sounds like Jo and Nico both went Rusnak. So I think in a situation where we have two people who agree on one and then the other people have different guys, we give the official title to the guy who got two. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I'm good with Rusnak. And I had chat vote, and chat voted 31% Rusnak, 31% Danny Musovsky. So
nice. Chat poll.
There you go.
31% chat went for Musovsky.
Yeah,
it's not. Wow. It's the case is a valid one. We also got a new YouTube member, Ben. Thank you Ben. For joining the team. If anyone wants to support the show, that's a great way to do it. Follow Ben's lead and become a Lobbing Scorchers YouTube member. All right, so we got team MVP Christian Roldan, attacking player of the year Albert Rusnak. Let's go defender of the year. This is another one that I think should warrant some good debate. And Noah, I think I know who you're gonna pick here, so I'll let you start this one off. Who did you have for the 2025 Seattle Sounders defender of the year?
I've been making the case all season, Ari. I've been making the case day in, day out, any chance that I can get anyone who will hear it, because the Sounders love a Roldan. And, everyone gives Christian love. He deserves it. But you know who else deserves a little love? Alex Roldan. Alex Roldan is my defender of the year, simply for how well he has played this season, the versatility of what he's played. And I don't know. You can just look at the tape. Look at the tape. That's all I have to say. You can go back and listen to everything that I've argued about, but I'm going to keep it sweet, keep it simple. Alex Roldan, defender of the year. Book it.
I actually think you have a good take here. That is who I put as well. And it was I think it's kind of hard to think of this without thinking of Jackson Reagan. But what kind of broke the tie for me was the stuff he did this year, like playing center back. Like that, you can't put value on that. Like most teams are not able to do stuff like that, where if they're down that far on their center back depth chart and they slide a guy in from out of position and he plays it at that level, it's crazy. And he kind of bailed this team out multiple times this year.
Yeah,
with that. So I think that's why I put him. But did either of you do either of you want to make the Jackson Reagan case? Because it's a good one.
Well, I actually think Nico might have a third person on his list.
Oh, okay.
But I will make the Jackson Reagan case, and I think that his growth into an elite MLS center back has just been really nice to watch. I have to admit, I think Noah convinced me that Alex is the deserving winner here, but Jackson Reagan is also is ironically the one who's more likely to get best 11 in MLS votes than anyone else on the roster, or not on the roster, but of the defenders. And I think a lot of it is just his passing is so important to what the Sounders do, and maybe that runs counter to his status as defender of the year, which maybe is where Nico is going to go with this. But the other thing about Alex, I just want to say, and Jackson for that matter, both these guys, and frankly Yamar too. These are like such good bargains. You know, it was only a few months ago that people were complaining about Alex Roldan being too expensive, and he looks like he might be one of the best deals on the whole roster. But Jackson Reagan, similar boat. But yeah, I will nominate Jackson, but I think Alex might be a pretty good show.
What's Alex's cap number?
It's like 5 something, I think.
Oh,
or something.
Wow, yeah. Oh, yeah. That's a deal and a half. Nico, you had an outside the box candidate. It looks like where'd you go with this one?
Well, no, outside the box because he's been defender of the year since he's got here. Clearly, not as many minutes as he usually has because of injuries. But I will say that Noah makes an excellent point on Alex, and I think that's a very fair shout because of everything he's done. But I got to go with Yamar, man. Yamar is just the bruiser. When it comes to defender and just being a defender in the box, leads the team in aerial duels. I believe he leads them on clearances. What he does is, and we just kind of talked about this, right? A lot of times those type of duels, tandems when it comes to either the midfield or center back, they kind of play off each other. I think that Yamar gives a lot of confidence for Jackson to be able to do Jackson things, get a little bit forward, be able to be very free with his passing because he can correct. He has the speed to correct in space if he has to. I think he's probably the best open field center back that the Sounders have. And I guess that's a little bit unfair because he's just more athletic, but just all the things that he does in set pieces, the things he does to intimidate guys. Look, I have heard a lot of stories about that Leagues Cup final against Miami, and one of the ones that really makes me laugh is that Suarez was doing a lot of Suarez stuff, kind of just
He was.
Not just I mean, let's not talk about what happened after. I mean in the game, right, when he's trying to intimidate with just his voice, like, hey man, you're too close to me, like is that how you play the game? Like, you're not really gonna grab me? And the only guy that was just like swinging him around like a rag doll was Yamar, because you know Yamar's gonna give you a big grin, no talk. He had this big old pause on your shoulder, and he was that guy that consistently does it. He did it a couple of times. I got some stories about him and Giacomakis when he came with Atlanta. He's just a guy that always gives the Sounders that presence inside the box, and I think that that's very important for this team. So that's why he's my pick. But I'm totally okay with the Alex Roldan. I think he's very deserving, especially in a year where Yamar just couldn't get more minutes on the field.
I'm glad you made the case for Yamar, because I do think, he's been on the team for a while now. It probably gets taken for granted to an extent, like how consistent he is for this team. And, for me, one of the things I was weighing when I was thinking about who I was going to pick is I guess I docked guys who missed a lot of time. So that's why I didn't go Rusnak for team MVP. He was out with injury a lot this year. And I think Yamar, in a year where he plays his full complement of minutes, he probably does get the nod here. But it sounds like we're all in agreement that we can give this one to Alex Roldan. Noah, your agenda has come to fruition. Alex Roldan has been named the Lobbing Scorchers 2025 Seattle Sounders Defender of the Year. All right, yeah,
and good on him, and good on him for it.
We got both Roldans in here: team MVP, Defender of the Year, and Albert Rusnak, Attacking Player of the Year. Next category, guys. This is the best young player other than Obed Vargas award. Obviously, Obed Vargas is a finalist for MLS Young Player of the Year for the whole league, and he's probably going to win it. So we don't even need to. He would get this if he was a candidate. But with him eliminated, who wants to start? Noah, how about you? Who do you have for the best young player other than Obed Vargas award.
You know,
And Georgie and Osaze, I think, are eligible. By the way.
Okay.
So 24 and younger is that what we're doing?
I mean,
Is
I don't
that
know.
okay?
Like they're
24
young.
24.
They're young, aren't they? I don't.
24 and younger. I like that because I was not gonna choose anything under 23. So
I feel like
there you go.
Osaze at least should count. Like he's a Defiance guy. I don't know.
Listen, I didn't pick either of those guys. Okay. I picked someone because we're talking young player. We're talking who's the best. And we're talking it can't be Obed Vargas. So I picked Obed Vargas too. I picked his duplicate. I picked the new Obed Vargas. I picked Snyder Brunel. Okay. He comes in. He's already scored 2 goals? And he's looked insanely talented just stepping into that role. I know it's a little bit early. I know he hasn't really probably proved that he is the best young player, but you know what? God damn it. I'm voting for him.
Yeah, no, it's a good pick. The argument against it would just be sample size is still really small.
It's
but
true.
I pick him too because I don't know. I feel uniquely secure in having him in the lineup for a young player, even compared to some of the other really good young players they've had come up in recent years. Like I really think that he showed an ability to not just blend in but excel in MLS in the limited minutes that he got, to the point where I feel no reservations about putting him in the starting 11 for a big game. There was a moment there where we thought he might have to play in the Leagues Cup final. Remember that? Because there was something, Christian took a knock or something, and we weren't sure if he was going to be able to go. And going into a game against Lionel Messi and Inter Miami in a cup final, I don't know about you guys, I felt totally fine. And maybe that was delusional, but I felt totally fine about the idea of Snyder B sliding in there, which I think says a lot. Jo, who did you have for this one?
So if Georgie and Osaze are eligible for this thing, Danny Leyva has to be eligible, even though Danny Leyva's been around forever. But I think Danny Leyva took a big step forward, even though this wasn't he didn't have a huge minute load, but he just showed a versatility and a reliability this year that I think was on a different level. I would not be at all surprised if Obed moves in the winter. I wouldn't be at all surprised if the Sounders open the season with him as a starter. And I think it would be well deserved. He's absolutely money on set pieces. He has shown the defensive chops to be able to hold his own. I really was impressed with what Danny Leyva did, especially down the stretch this year. He played some of the double pivot. He played some as a 10. I liked him a lot. I really am happy that he is still with the Sounders.
Yeah, and he's only 22, so I don't think he's not even in the debatable category that Georgie and Osaze would be. But Nico, what do you think? Who did you have for this one?
Yeah, this was a tough one because when I looked at Young, I mean, none of them really had
it's kind of subjective criteria.
A lot of minutes, right? So I kind of cheated a little bit, and I went with Kalani Kosariense. I mean, he's 23, but he came out of Tacoma, but just everything he has been able to do. He's played wing backs, play full backs, play higher up the field. He's been a guy that has earned probably the most trust out of any of the people that we've kind of put out there so far, even more than Snyder Brunel. Obviously Snyder's the younger guy and probably more deserving to what we're going for here, but that's kind of what I went with. I just thought that it was a big, I thought it was important to give a shout to Kalani. He hasn't been perfect. He's had some moments where, as Brian said, he's plateaued a little bit, and he's had some moments where I'm hoping he's going to learn from them, and he's had some defensive woes. But overall, what he's been able to do on the offense, on the attack, defensively, physically, he's a guy that you could ask him to do whatever. He's going to get there. He's been and faced some really good attackers, and he's never lost a beat, right? I mean, maybe he gets beat down a little bit, but he gets back up. He just seems to be a guy that's just never going to let you down. He's going to just be all over the field. So that's kind of who I went with. Georgie was a great shout, but another one that just didn't get a lot of minutes or not enough minutes. He hasn't gotten enough minutes. So I kind of went with that.
We got a couple of RBW shouts in chat.
Who was
Eric
your
says,
pick, Ari?
My vote would be RBW. Played really solid when he was in. And Corey also says RBW. USMNT quality, solid and reliable. I think RBW has a good shot. I picked Snyder B, and I was I don't know. I should have solidified the criteria more because I was sort of debating between him and I'll make the Georgie case. I think he took a big step this year, but he demonstrated what I think is probably the most tantalizing theoretical upside of anybody, just in terms of his physical tools, how effortlessly he can win these 1v1s. And then you kind of saw the end product start to come around a little bit towards the end of the year. He scores that banger goal in Leagues Cup, gets the Christ red card, but I mean, it was still a great goal. And he also just like if he hits the ceiling that he could ultimately hit, it could be a just really, really exciting player. And I think he showed that this year. So that would be that's kind of why I was kind of torn on whether to go with Snyder or Georgie for completely different reasons. But I guess this whole kind of discussion is making it's kind of underscoring how many really good, exciting young players are on this team. Like you could I think Danny Leyva is a great pick for what he started to show down the stretch. RBW also had a case as well. I hadn't really thought about KKR, but yeah, he's in the same age group as a lot of the guys we're talking about, and he's just breaking into the league. So a lot of good candidates for this category, which I think is a good sign, hopefully, for the future of the club. Any other thoughts, takes, or nominees on best young player other than
Chad has voted. I can give you Chat's votes.
Yeah, what did Chat say?
38% says Kalani Kosarienzi, 24% say Reed Baker Whiting, 24% say Danny Leyva, and 14% say Snyder Brunel. So I feel like there's a discussion to be had here on our final take. Although we did both take Snyder B, it seems as though maybe we need to have a discussion here.
Well, I guess if you guys make the marker 22 and younger, I would rather go Danny Leyva than Snyder Brunel. But if you guys allow that, if Georgie's in and 24 and below is the marker, then I'll stick with Kalani. So it's up to you guys.
Let's set the criteria. We'll just make it 22 and younger. So Georgie and Nosaze and all them are out. Kalani's out. I guess that seems to be a way to narrow it down a little bit.
I'll stick with Danny Leyva then. I'll go with Danny.
Okay, so we got two Danny Leyva votes. I'm good with that. No, and are you passionately against the Danny Leyva idea?
I'm not passionately against it, but now we're 2 and 2.
But Chat said Danny Leyva, and
let's have Chat tie break it.
Okay,
all right.
Danny Leyva, and who was the other one?
Get your votes in, Chat.
Snyder Brunel.
Snyder. RBW.
Was it Snyder?
It's just that just not enough minutes.
Coming up with a criteria on the fly. That's good content.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. I was proud of my Kalani.
It's the first awards show. Okay, we're establishing the protocol.
What would you expect from Lobbing Scorchers? You think this is a high tech production?
Do we have the poll results yet?
The polls are coming in. The votes are coming in. 92% are voting Danny Leyva currently.
I think we're looking at a Danny Leyva
vote. Stop the count.
I think we're looking at Danny Leyva getting this one, which that's kind of that wasn't what I
want to know. Actually, are we printing up awards to hand out to the players at training?
We should. I wasn't gonna. It was gonna be more
having
of just
best
like
young
theoretical
player
awards
other than Obed Vargas on your award is a little offensive, but fuck it.
And then we're doing red card of the year, so we'd have to give that one out as well. That could be a fun little thing.
I don't think Brian would enjoy that one.
No, I don't think so either. All right. I mean, I'm just gonna put it in as Danny Leyva unless there's
we got it. Danny Leyva. That was
Danny Leyva. 2025.
Put it on the Wikipedia page.
Best young player, Lobbing Scorchers, best young player other than Obed Vargas award. I actually had him for another of these categories, so that's that'll make that one interesting. All right, I think this one is one that I thought actually was pretty straightforward that we might all have the same guy, but newcomer of the year. The criteria I thought was pretty self-explanatory, but it's just guys who are in their first year on the team. Nico, who'd you have newcomer of the year?
Well, so now I can go Kalani there. So I'm gonna go Kalani Kosarienzi.
Okay, that's a little bit of a loophole because he was in the he was on Defiance last
Well,
year.
who's up for this award then?
yeah.
Ryan Kent?
I guess
Paul Ariola,
Ferreira?
It's Jesus Ferreira. I
Ferreira.
guess.
Oh, okay.
Jesus
All right.
Ferreira.
Jesus.
Okay,
Yeah, let's do Jesus. My bad.
Okay.
I was thinking way outside the box.
I mean,
Clearly, Jesus Ferreira. Look, Jesus Ferreira was a guy that I thought was a good shout for MVP. He's done absolutely everything. He's played the 10, played the winger, played the 9. I think that he's played some of the most minutes, most games in the team. He's up there in all those categories. Say it again, Jo.
He does lead the team in appearances.
Lead the team in appearances. And I think that without him, you don't get to where you are right now. You don't get to the Leagues Cup final. I just think that he's been very reliable despite the scrutiny and everything that he came onto this team. I also think that he continues to grow. He continues to build himself as a leader. I just, it has to be him without a doubt.
Yeah, Noah laid out, I thought, a pretty good case for him as team MVP. Like, I think for all those reasons. And I would even add that, and I've talked about this a lot, but I've been so pleasantly surprised at how good a two-way player he is, like as far as work rate and how positively he's impacted this team's ability to press and win turnovers and create dangerous chances. He's fantastic at that. Like to an extent that I did not realize he had when I used to watch him at FC Dallas. I thought we were getting kind of like just a pure attacking player, but he's a very well-rounded player and very unselfish, one of the best facilitators on the team. And the knock of his stat sheet production not being what you would like for a player of his kind of, blockbuster trade arrival, I've also been arguing, and I believe like that he's had some egregiously bad luck with that this year, as far as goals getting disallowed for his teammates being offside, and he's hit a few off the post.
I think he has 3 goals disallowed for other players being offside.
Yeah, like
Crazy.
his stat sheet numbers would be way better with.
And he's had some just absolute dimes that haven't been turned.
Yes, that too. Well. He and Rothrock honestly should both have a few more assists to their name as well.
If he was on like what he's on 5 goals and 7 assists across all comps, he could easily be 10 and 10. Like it wouldn't even be.
Yeah. The level of footy that he played this year was of the quality of a 10 and 10 season. I will stand on that, even if some people will call it cope. But yeah, I mean, this one was an easy one. There's just not a lot of guys eligible, but like he also is just the far and away best performing guy who just got to this team this year. If Ryan Kent had been healthy, it could have been an interesting discussion there because he showed some really good stuff early on there. But unfortunately, I mean, he hasn't played in a few months, so it's got to be Jesus as the 2025 Seattle Sounders Lobbing Scorchers newcomer of the year. All right, I'm interested what you guys came up with for this one. This one leaves a lot of room for you could put anyone in here. Unsung hero of the year, and unsung hero can mean whatever you want it to.
What you want it to be.
And I was thinking of it as like the guy who does stuff that maybe doesn't get the recognition. So
I think can we all agree that Paul Rothrock isn't eligible for this, because if there's one thing that he's been very sung, exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, we sing all the time about Paul Rothrock.
Yeah, no, like that a guy
like,
that,
not to take anything away from him, but he's getting his
when they
flowers.
market Leagues Cup around the Leagues Cup final fully around him, you can't really be unsung. Noah, why don't you get us started with unsung hero of the year? Who'd you have?
My unsung hero of the year might be a shock to you. It might be a shock to everyone. I'm gonna go with Paul Ariola. Okay.
All right. I'm interested to hear this.
This is a deep cut, and let me explain. Okay. Paul Ariola looked like a god tier player coming into this season. His connection with Jesus Ferreira was incredible. He looked really, really, really good in those CONCACAF Champions Cup games. And unfortunately, he died so that we could get Ryan Kent. And Ryan Kent helped us win the only trophy that we currently have for this season in Leagues Cup. I don't think that his performances should go unnoticed. So I want to give a shout out to Paul Arriola, who, without him dying for our sins, we would not have Ryan Kent. And he may become one of the most key players in the playoffs if he heats up. So it's a little bit of a 5-head take. You got to be smart enough to think about it.
That's that you went in a pretty galaxy brained route, but I
Shout out Paul Arriola.
I admire the thinking outside of the box. That's not who I had, but Jo, who'd you have for unsung
I
hero?
know who you had.
That's not who I had.
That's like who I thought we were going. That was the chalk pick.
Kent did play in Leagues Cup. He's not wrong about that. He did.
He did play. He absolutely played.
He famously assisted and then blew up his
hamstring. Yeah,
hamstring. Yeah.
Yeah, this is such a eye of the beholder award, and that makes it tough. But I mean, I guess I don't. I'm trying to think who we have not praised enough.
Someone said
And I
Craig
feel like-
Weibel.
That's an outside the box, another outside the box idea.
we have Paul Arriola and Craig Weibel.
You know what?
shouts
I'm gonna
for
go. This is where I'm gonna go. John Bell. John Bell is someone who has we've never really no one talks about John Bell, but he just quietly comes in and does the job that, every time someone's out, it's like, oh, John Bell can fill in there. He can fill, and he's played. I think people would be surprised to see how many minutes he's played this year, and he's been really effective. Like I don't think he has let the Sounders down, frankly, at all. Like every game he's been in, and if we're really leaning into,
You got a red card.
Yeah, but he did get a red card in the Vancouver game, but that was the game was already chalked at that point. Well, I guess it wasn't really. He was it came right after Nuhu got his.
Out of all the red cards this year, that was one of them. That was one of them where I was like, that was pretty
excusable.
just unlucky. Yeah, like their feet got tangled up, but he did not do what Nuhu did and like grab the guy horse collar and throw it.
Right.
He
John
just got his
Bell,
feet
lock it
tangled up on
in.
a
That's my
bouncy
pick.
situation. Yeah, I like that. I like that case, and Jo kind of convinced me on that one. I had KKR for this one. I don't know if he's too sung, but I feel like he really, like, we talked about him a lot, but like the fan base doesn't necessarily talk about KKR a lot. Yeah. And he had a big emergence this year, but he also he provides like almost like a different level of attacking play from that fullback spot. Like he was doing some real fun stuff that Alex is much more sound defensively at right back, which is why I would have him as the first choice starter in like any game. But KKR, like the goals he was scoring, I think he ended up with 3 goals, 3 assists this year. That's for the minutes he played. That's fantastic output for his position. And I think he's got potential to be like a MLS mainstay, which going into this season, I don't think we knew that. And it maybe doesn't get talked about as much as some other guys.
Oh, that's a good call. That's a good call.
Yo, we got Steven Lenhart. Shout.
I was gonna say that just to mess around, but look, as my time is kind of running out here, because I do gotta walk my dog. But I was gonna play around with Steven Lenhart, but I was really gonna go Jay Bell, and I think Kalani Kosariense is a little bit too sung. It feels that way in some sort. He's been more reliable guy. And what I mean unsung is even myself. I thought that initially when you send me the categories, I was going to go with Kim Ki-hee, no problem. And then I started to do a little bit of digging of the moments that Jay Bell has came in, the positions that he's played. He closes out games. He does a whole bunch of things that nobody really cares about, really, but he's added a lot of minutes, added a lot of games overall, and I think he's been a big part of why the bottom out of this defense hasn't completely fallen off with all of the injuries. Sure, Alex is part of it as well, but the unsung part of that has to be Jay Bell.
We got an Andrew Thomas shout in chat, which I would argue he's pretty sung for like how he played and like the Cup heroics.
I
but
was
like
tempted to go there too, but I think he's been too sung.
he's pretty sung. But
How about goalkeeper of the year?
People asking to get him the starting job would make him, I feel, ineligible for this award, in my opinion.
I didn't have goalkeeper of the year as a category, but
That's spicy.
that could be I mean, that's the
That's
debate. I guess
wild.
kind of what we've been having that debate. But
I mean, you got to give it to Andrew because he won an award. He won a trophy.
all right,
won
Nico.
keeper of the tournament.
Nico's short on time, so we only got 2 more categories. But Nico, you can jet whenever you need to. But let's do most improved player. I think that could be a good little debate. Nico, who did you have for 2025 Seattle Sounders Lobbing Scorchers most improved player?
I think this one's easy. It's Danny Musovski. I mean, who else triples or doubles his goal intake for his career and goes from being a guy that people wanted out of here no matter what, a guy that couldn't buy a goal in practice really, to
This year, people are asking for this guy to get off their team.
yes,
In the
absolutely,
press box.
100%. Right here, absolutely. I still don't give him enough credit. So yes, if I'm going to give him credit, it's for being the most improved player, and for all of a sudden having people saying that they'd rather have him than Jordan Morris up top. I mean, he doesn't get any more improved than that.
Yeah, I think that's open shut for me. But
I put the other Danny. I put Danny Leva for this one.
I mean,
but
I think Leva has a good shout, but I just think the reality is to go the extreme. To go from really there was a point at which it felt like he was the 28th guy on the roster, and to now be someone who is the leading scorer on the team is pretty remarkable.
Roberto put a good shout in chat, which is Obed Vargas. I think you could actually argue that pretty credibly. Like, he was really good last year, but this year I really think he has entered a new stratosphere of good. But
I put Georgie Manungu.
See, that's
a good
another one I was
shout.
thinking about. To explain the game.
I just think that, we went last year from talking about a guy who has some spark and he's an interesting player, but he is super unpolished. And I kept saying, like, I don't know if I believe in this whole Georgie agenda. Like, I want to see some polish. I want to see some final product. And he delivered. And I think he's looked like an actual genuine contender. He's playing for his national team now. I mean, it's for me, that's my
Yeah,
pick.
I was thinking about that too. The reason,
And I just can't give Danny Musovski an award. I'm sorry, I can't do it.
it's tough when you got like the guys with the really small sample sizes, like how to know like what's too small a sample size to be rightfully considered. Georgie was like bordering on that. We got a Pedro de la Vega shout in chat, which I think you could make that case, but I think did he improve or was he just able to like play this year? Like last year,
Yeah, there's a difference in that.
There's a difference.
Yeah.
Like, he wasn't on the field last year. He's probably been this good the whole time. He just didn't get to show it last year. But it was definitely in terms of the most improved season compared to last year, just judging purely on that. I mean,
I think
he was
Danny
definitely in the mix.
Musovski wins this one. I get it.
Yeah. I liked my Leva pick here, but we can. I think
Literally no one gave you anything on that. That was
Moose went from 1 goal, 1 assist to 14 goals, 4 assists. So that's a pretty big improvement.
I just want to share a thing I just discovered. Do you realize that Ryan Kent played 20 games?
no
All
way.
comps are
All comp.
That is
That's
wild.
insane.
Damn.
that's way more than
I
I
would have
thought.
I would have not guessed that anywhere near that.
No, I'd guess closer to like 10. He didn't he get like 5 assists?
Yeah. Yeah,
That's pretty good output. We'll see what he does in the playoffs. All right, guys, before we get our last category, we've filled out all the last categories kind of a bit. But for team MVP, we have Christian Roldan. For attacking player of the year, we have Albert Rusnak. For defender of the year, we have Alex Roldan. For the best young player of the year, other than Obed Vargas, we have Danny Leva. For newcomer of the year, Jesus Ferreira. Unsung hero of the year, John Bell. Most improved player, Danny Musovski. I think that's a pretty solid list for end of season.
I like
awards.
it.
I don't think we have any. I mean, if we have
no
any,
repeats.
No repeats.
no repeats. Yeah.
Ooh.
If we have any egregiously bad takes in there, feel free to call them out in chat. But no, I think that's a solid list. Okay, last category of the evening. This is the Clint Dempsey Red Card of the Year award. Now, in normal seasons, you hopefully don't have to give this one out. But the Seattle Sounders got was the final count 9?
Yeah.
I think it was nine red cards, all comps this year, which is I would argue it
Remarkable.
got excessive. It was too many. There was a point in the season where every time it would happen, I felt like I was being messed with. Did they and just the multitude of ways they would get sent off. It was a big year for the color red for the Seattle Sounders. But to me, I think there was three nominees here. Nuhu having there's 4 nominees. There's both of Nuhu's.
You had 3, by the way.
What was what was the last one? Oh yeah, well the Galaxy one. That one was a little less crazy, I think. I think his nominees for Red Card of the Year are the Vancouver horse collar tackle, and then the throwing the ball in the stands, and then demonstrating the flip off to the ref, famously in Kansas City. But then you've got a couple of good competitors. You have the Moose Leagues Cup crash out, which was a good red, and then you've got the Christ Yellow, which part of my criteria for how I was thinking of this was like the novelty of how you get sent off. That one was, I've never seen that. I've never seen someone get sent off for thanking Christ. So that was a new one. And I think you have to at least put it in the nominees for that. But I think ultimately where I land, guys, is I think the Nuhu one in Kansas City, there were so many elements of it. Like, obviously you have him throwing the ball in the stands, but what kind of pushed it over the line for me was the whole part where he flipped off the ref, and everyone was like, is he flipping off the ref? And then he I guess later was like, no, I was demonstrating what the fan did to me to flip off the ref. And then when that first came out as the explanation, I was like, dude, that is insulting our intelligence. Like, what are we actually talking about? And then I went back and I watched it back, and I was like, I think that is what happened. He was trying to explain to the ref, this guy flipped me off, but then it just looked like he was flipping off the ref. But anyway, you put all that together, and that's my pick for the Clint Dempsey Red Card of the Year award. Anyone else want to make the case for another one?
I had the Christ is Lord red.
All right, yeah, make
that
the
one's
case.
fire. To literally sub on, score the best goal of your entire career, run over to the corner flag, pick your shirt up to reveal a Christ is Lord shirt, and then immediately get a red card. It has to be the funniest, just boom, boom, boom thing. Like, why are you already on a yellow? Like, why? It was just, oh my God, that shit was so funny. It was so funny. And the absolute confusion and chaos that ensued afterwards, for me, that one was just like the Nuhu crash out in Kansas City. I get it. It'll probably win. But that's expected from Nuhu, at this point. This one was just so in the bit about they're persecuting him because he spoke out,
right?
And
then how good the goal was too, I think, added to
exactly.
it. That's, I don't know. You make a good case.
The Danny Mazovsky one needs a little bit of shine.
Okay, all right.
And I think I have a personal attachment to this because I could see it building up, and I loudly told everyone who had listened, he's going to get sent off.
Jeremiah literally called it in the PB. Yeah.
Crashing out. You could just see the frustration just ramp up every time he didn't get a call. And you could just see it building and building and building. And it was oddly satisfying to watch it just explode the way it did, because it was so, to me, it felt kind of predictable. I guess it wasn't as predictable as I thought, because Brian would have taken him off if it was, that predictable. But it was so, he was just beside himself. He bumps the referee. He almost really, and honestly, in a weird way, it ends up creating this really kind of fun narrative for Osaze de Rosario to sort of step in. And, because he ends up playing very well in the semifinal, and then he earns himself another start in the final. And I just kind of love it. And what even made it even more perfect is that Musovski goes out and scores a hat trick in the league game between those. It was so good.
If Moose hadn't crashed out in Leagues Cup, we wouldn't have had the Osaze storyline, which was one of the most fun parts of Leagues Cup. We might still not know how good Osaze is if he hadn't done that.
Right.
So it was actually to the benefit of the team. Nico,
Exactly.
what's your pick for red card of the year?
Yeah, I'm gonna give an MD and then I'll say bye just because I do gotta get out of here. But I will say this: it was between the new who throwing the ball at the fan and Musovski chest bumping the ref, only because I wanted to give an omen to the name of the award. I try to put myself and think, out of those two things, what's more Clint Dempsey like? And I thought about it and I meditated and I, try to use AI to recreate both moments. And I just felt like if somebody's gonna bump the referee with their chest because they feel like they have that swag and they have that anger, it's Clint Dempsey. So it was a close call, but I'm gonna go with the crash out by Mr. Danny Musovski, and the moment, the time, the way he got up, the way he kind of felt like he was upset about the card later. I mean, that's got Clint Dempsey written all over it. I mean, that just, it does. I picture it. I could see it. So I'll go with Danny Musovski red card.
I didn't even think about that, like the Dempsey homage of it. That's a great point.
Yeah.
Well, it looks like we have an upset there. I was sure the new one was going to win, but it sounds like Danny Musovski's Leagues Cup crash.
That's why
out.
You do the vote.
That's why we do the show. That's why we do the vote. But Nico, thanks for tapping in. Feel free to hang out with
thank you guys. This is awesome. I love the panel. You guys are great. It's a great panel. Love the audience. Lobbing Scorchers continues to grow under our heart. I mean, it's just this is what it's all about. It's getting this sort of content is great. I'm sure that people are digging it. Thanks to everybody. All the audience was always great. So have a good rest of your night, and I'll catch you guys on soon, and I'll see you Noah
this weekend, and then
in Ari on Monday. Yeah. But maybe we'll do something like that. Yeah, so I'll see you guys around. Take it easy, guys.
Later, Nico. Have a good one. Thanks for tapping in. All right. I mean, that's all I had for the first Lobbing Scorchers end of season awards show. I think that was pretty fun. We'll probably do it again next year. Make it a little annual tradition. Maybe next season we'll make picks who we think is going to get him before the season and then see if we get it right type. So I don't know. We don't need to get into all that, but did you guys have anything else you wanted to talk about Seattle Sounders wise or playoffs wise, or should we just call it at a hour and a half?
I also need to get out of here pretty soon, but
yeah, you can
but thank you for having me. This was a lot of fun.
Thanks for coming on and submitting your votes.
Danny Musovski was able to pull out that
was riveting.
That ending. That was quite an ending. Yeah.
What an upset. So we did have one repeat.
So yeah, I guess we did. But it's a little different because it's more this was award for more of like a situation than an individual.
Fair enough.
Jo, thank you as always for tapping in. Appreciate you. And we'll catch you probably this weekend, playoffs.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Have a good one. All right. Shout out to Jo and Nico for tapping in. Noah, do you have anything on your mind like Seattle Sounders? How are you feeling about this Minnesota series?
Less on my mind about the Sounders and more about other things, but I will comment. I think I feel confident about this series, and that makes me feel weird. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I shouldn't be as confident as I am. It's like one of those things where Minnesota are a weird ass team. They play weird ass soccer and anything can happen. But also the Sounders turn into a completely different club when it's time for the playoffs. I don't know, man. I'm gonna make my decision on if I think this club actually has a genuine chance of making a run at the cup after the first game.
Yeah. And I mean, it'll be telling the first game to see how much they figured out this Minnesota team. I kind of expect Minnesota to try and play with the ball a little bit more in the playoffs, but I could be wrong. That's not something they seem to do. But hearing about this Chucky situation, man, like I was kind of looking at that, and it's like if Seattle makes it by Minnesota in round one, they're in all likelihood going to play San Diego unless the Timbies pull off an insane upset, which I don't think they're going to do. Yeah. And even if Chucky is back in the mix by the time Seattle and San Diego played, like that just doesn't that feels like their vibes are a little off.
Yeah.
Right now. So like low key, Seattle kind of ended up in the way more forgiving part of the bracket, and they're going to have to get through Vancouver LAFC eventually. But the whole Chucky variable, it kind of like it almost strengthens the path a little bit. But I know what you mean about like you don't want to feel overconfident going into a playoff game. And the way my mind works, I tend to like go for the doomsday. Like this is all the reasons they're going to lose. But I've seen this team turn into tournament gods so many times that I've kind of learned to trust myself when I like their chances. And I do think over a 3-game series or like a multi-game series, the better, more talented team does tend to win out. And I do think Seattle's a better team. Honestly, much more so since they sold Tani, and that was a big loss for them. So it's not even the same team that Seattle was playing earlier in the season. So that's kind of
who my dark horse first round pick is going to be to upset the Chicago Fire. I think they're going to do it to Philly, man. I think they're going to do it to Philly.
I kind of like that take.
I just think the Greg ball is Gregging in the right way, and I saw the way they absolutely dismantled Orlando. I understand that Orlando is not that good. I understand. But I also just feel like Philly won the Shield, and they're never going to win an MLS Cup. So it's like they've got to lose at some point. I think it would be hilarious if it was the Chicago Fire.
Yeah, and they definitely had the look of a team that's about to make a run in the wild card game last night, which I think is partially to do with Orlando being bad. But Chicago, like you're right, the Greg ball is Gregging. Like that's a good way to put it.
It's Gregging.
They've reached like peak Greg just in time for the playoffs. But
you want to leak your bracket?
I don't know if I have like my bracket handy, but we can pull the bracket up and I can like recount what I picked.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm gonna build mine. I could just build mine
pull yours up and
because I haven't done it yet. Let me log in real quick.
Let's do that, and then we can.
Yeah, I'm just trying to give the people some content here because we didn't do a pod yet. So
yeah.
Oh, I gotta sign in with the goddamn I gotta do 7-factor authentication. Oh my god! Remember when we tried to get you on Slack? Do you remember that whole scenario?
What Slack?
With your new computer.
Oh my god! Yeah, that was the biggest tech disaster of all time.
That was hilarious. Okay, wait here. I'm gonna pull it up here. All right, I'm adding.
Philly did lose Quinn Sullivan. That is true. They are a deep team, though.
Okay, we're gonna go Chicago. Now let's talk through St. Louis, New York City. I feel like
Charlotte.
Charlotte.
You said
Did I say St. Louis?
Yeah.
Bro.
Not quite a playoff team this year.
I'm going with Charlotte.
I picked them to make it to MLS Cup.
Yeah, I think they're really good. This is the interesting one, Miami, Nashville.
I picked Miami, but
yeah. I
like Nashville is good, but Miami like specifically owns Nashville like more than any other team. Messi has 10 goals against them, which is the most against any other team, and they just destroy them every time. They just destroyed them on decision day. So
yeah, I kind of agree with that pick. Columbus, Cincy. Columbus are kind of fraudulent.
It's Cincy there, man. Like the Crew are not good right now.
No, they're not. I agree. And then you have this is a crazy. Well,
That's a
let's
good
go on
game.
the West. Let's go on the West. Portland versus San Diego. Does San Diego actually do it? Do you think they can get out from under Portland?
I do think so, but mainly because I think the Timbies are like they're not good, man. Like they
agree.
beat RSL, but that was not like a convincing 3-1 at all.
Yeah,
me.
I think we're both in that same wavelength. I think we're both in the same Seattle wavelength here. Minnesota, like over 3 games, dude, you can't troll. You can't troll for 3 games.
Maybe they can, but I'll believe it when I see it.
Yeah. Austin LAFC. Let's just not even have a conversation there. Continue. Vancouver, Dallas. We already watched this game. This game already happened.
These should just be buys for LAFC in Vancouver. We don't even need to do this.
Like we watched this happen. There's no way that they get another first-minute red card and Dallas somehow pulls off an upset. I don't think that's happening. Vancouver all day. All right, we're going back to the East. Charlotte versus Chicago. I mean, you got to pick Greg Ball. That's what I'm picking.
That's not what I picked, but I
Greg
support
Ball,
you picking it.
I'm picking Greg Ball. And
It's
then,
we got different dark horses. I went with Charlotte. You've got the Fire. I kind of like the Fire. That's a heat check, but it could pay off for you.
And then Miami versus Cincy. This is where it gets shiesty. I don't want to pick Miami because then they're making it to the MLS Cup. But also, do I really believe that Cincy is that good of a team?
This is where, so I don't, but they do have one of the best players in the league, and that can always Inter Miami's defense. You know, it can. We've seen what can happen.
What were their other matchups? They played this year, right?
Miami and Cincy. I can't remember.
Let's see what it was. Okay, Miami Redhawks and Cincinnati Bearcats. That's super helpful. Thank you, Google, for that. Okay, they drew, and Cincinnati won. So I'm just gonna go based on the evidence.
If Miami goes down, which they do like to do in the playoffs, I think it would be right there.
Yeah, I agree.
Jake is saying that Columbus might be, you have more of a chance and hell is real than we're saying, but I mean I get the rivalry component of it.
They're just not ball right now.
They're not good right now. They're really struggling.
Yeah. All right, San Diego versus Seattle.
Man.
In San Diego.
Yeah. I just don't know about San Diego's vibes right now, man. If this was the San Diego that was ripping up the league a couple months ago, I would take them as the home team probably. I think they are legitimately vulnerable right now. That's what it seems like.
Yeah.
They haven't been in great form for a couple months now. They're dealing with drama with their star player. Who knows if he's even going to play.
And you have to play a play-in game that you're basically going to win 10-0. Where's your head going to be at coming out of that, you know?
And also, I think we've talked about this a little bit, but expansion teams or teams that haven't made the playoffs, their first time there, that's not easy. You're not always ready for that smoke right away. And most expansion teams are not, and they might be, but that is something when you haven't been there before, it's like a whole new kind of thing that you have to reckon with that a team like Seattle just does not have to reckon with. Seattle's done this a million times. So
yeah, I agree. I'm going to go with Seattle. LAFC versus Vancouver. This was the big debate with Jeremiah and Nico.
I picked LAFC, but
I feel LAFC heavy, and what I feel here is Seattle does it again in the Western Conference Finals.
All right, you got him going.
And I feel like Chicago somehow
this
does
is a
it
sick bracket.
Greg Ball.
This is a sick bracket.
And I think the Sounders win it. This is what I'm committing.
In Chicago? Or no, yeah, they would be
in Seattle. Seattle.
I mean, if they're hosting Cup against the Fire, that would be a pretty ideal. You picked the ideal Seattle bracket, which I like. But I mean, I don't think it's fully. It's obviously a little bit of a homer pick, but there's reasoning behind it. Like the San Diego potential downfall, I think is real. It just seems like. And then Okay, I guess what makes you feel confident about a theoretical Western Conference final against LAFC? Because that's kind of where I'm like, I know they did it in 2019, but this LAFC team looks like a freaking buzzsaw right now.
I just somehow feel like someone's going to get injured against Vancouver.
Okay,
Like
so
they're
it's
going to have
based
to
on
play in Vancouver, and I don't know. It's there's the factor of them having to play at Vancouver that is realistically anything can happen. There's something wrong with the vibes in that stadium. There's something wrong with BC Place, Ari. It's haunted, and frankly, that's it's going to do something to them.
What LAFC team do you think was better, this team or the 2019 team that Seattle had to beat with Carlos Vela and that whole gang?
I don't know.
That one was better statistically. They had a plus 48 GD. Vela had 49 goal
Son and
contributions.
Belonga had played a whole season together.
Yes, true.
I think there's a sense that like that could be a challenge.
Kyle makes a good point as well that LAFC's schedule to end the season has been pretty soft.
And they couldn't get it done in Colorado.
Yeah, like, you know, I have this kind of vision of Son and Bouanga going on this demonic run through all the playoffs and tearing through everyone, but they really, like, they didn't do that to the Rapids, did they? And they were playing in that game, were they not?
They were both playing in that game, yeah.
So it's a team that can still get into a competitive playoff game. It's not like they've been winning every single game like 5-0. So, and think about the pressure that's going to be on them if they do have to play Seattle at home in the West Final. Like, the narrative flipped for a while there, where it was like LAFC owns Seattle in the playoffs or whatever. But I don't know. I feel like I'm taking crazy pills with that sometimes because that narrative still gets perpetuated. And I'm like, did Seattle not beat LAFC at LAFC in the playoffs literally last year? So like this is now the tables have turned here. This is on them. They're the ones who need to flip the script and change the narrative.
I'm with you. I don't think this is a bad bracket. It's a bit homery, but like I think you could definitely switch.
The Chicago pick is hot.
That's what we do. Like that's what we're here for.
Is that fully vibes based or like
I
have
an
affinity for the Fire and Greg Wall?
I don't know. I liked their win was good, bro. Like they looked good. Like,
and they've looked good in attack all year. They just
and it's like, I'm sorry, dude. Philly, like I just don't believe. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. I feel like a hungry ass Fire team can go in there, get a scrappy result. Charlotte, like I do really like Charlotte, and if I was actually gonna be a little bit less insane about my pick, I would have picked them to go to the final. But
I'm happy. I'm happy with my Charlotte dark horse pick. I feel like it's a good middle ground of a team that people don't really expect, but also a team that I think is really good. Whereas the Fire, like they did look incredible against Orlando, and they are a genuinely good team offensively. But I do like Charlotte. I think is so much stronger defensively. So
yeah,
that is.
I agree.
But like I like that you went. I don't think there's many brackets that have the Fire going all the way, but we do like wacky stuff like that does happen in the playoffs.
I could totally see them beating Philly at the minimum. Like I truly believe that is my pick for the upset of round one. I don't think Portland will get it done, but we saw it St. Louis. Okay. Like, I don't know. I'm just saying, like, you can have a bunch of points, but
Manny says, I don't believe Cincy over Messi, which I get, but I also didn't believe Brad Guzan over Messi last
year. I was going to say, yeah.
Like the team
but he's officially retired now, so they may be able to finally make a run.
The team that knocked Inter Miami out of the playoffs last year is way worse than any team that's in the playoffs this year. Definitely way worse than this Cincy team. So I think that's the thing. This is what Miami does. Like you think they're all set up, and then they find some way to lose it.
Miami has not beaten Cincinnati this season.
Yeah. Cincinnati's got Evander.
I have to look at the numbers. I've got to look at what the results were.
You're famously a stats guy.
I literally have dug into the XG. Is that what it is?
Expected
advancement, the XA.
Yeah. All right. I didn't have anything else for the night. Did you?
No.
Let's call it right there. Good stuff. Thank you all for tuning in to the first ever Lobbing Scorchers end of season awards show. That was a lot of fun. I was hoping it would generate some good debates, and I think it did. There was some outside the box picks. There were some obvious picks. The red card of the year debate I thought was actually the best debate. There was debates that changed. I was sure that knew who was going to get red card of the year. That's an incredible upset. To imagine throwing a ball into the stands and flipping off a referee and you don't even win red card of the year. That says a lot about this team's red cards. That there was one that was able to beat him out after that display.
It's going to be good bait on Instagram when I post all of the graphics, though, because people are going to spam the new who one. So we're going to get good engagement. And then, so this actually works out.
That's going to be a good graphic. I'm excited to see what you cook up for that one. When is this game? Oh, it's on
Monday.
On Monday. All right. So yeah, that's why I was looking, because I don't know if that's going to affect our Lobbing Scorchers kickoff schedule. We might just do it anyway as like a pregame show.
Do it anyway.
Like, yeah, we'll probably just do it anyway. Like we did a Leagues Cup pregame show, probably be a similar vibe to that. And then maybe we'll find a time, or I'll find a time to go live this weekend to react to other stuff that's going on. But
it is Halloween.
It is Halloween. So
no, this weekend it isn't. Next weekend.
Yeah, next
like
weekend,
when the game is. Yeah.
Got it. But I'll keep y'all posted if we're doing anything this weekend. But otherwise, we'll see you on Monday for kickoff for the pregame show, and then we'll do our postgame reaction show and take calls afterwards. And yeah, playoff time. Let's go. It's time. The road to MLS Cup starts in Minneapolis. So hell yeah.
Get ready to learn negative possession, buddy.
Oh my God. Do you think they're going to commit to their full tactics? I feel like I don't think they can. Man.
We'll have to see.
I'm actually so curious to see if they come out like they did it. Can you play a playoff game like they played Seattle at Allianz the last time these two teams played? There's no way you can do that. If Eric Ramsey does that, he's a bits man. Like he's
certified.
He's a stand-up comedian, not an MLS coach, if he actually does that. But I didn't think he would do it before, and that's just apparently how he rolls. So anyway, all right, we're gonna call it right there. Thanks for tuning in tonight, guys. We'll catch you on Monday at the very latest. Love y'all. Thank you for tuning in. Peace.
Some people come to Lumen Field for the tactics, for the soccer, the atmosphere, and some come for Paul Rothrock's hair. Me personally, I come for both, because I have agendas to push. Live soccer isn't just better, it's way more personal. From making friends to becoming the guy in your section that's just constantly yelling about advanced statistics. Get tickets to any Sounders match by visiting lobbingscorchers.com/tickets. You support the pod, our agendas, the vibes, and the chaos.